Hey guys, what's up? Okay, so it's definitely been some time since my last video, um, but there's just some things that we need to talk about right now. Um, so basically, I guess the past month or so, I have been spiritually grounded, and pretty much Papa has just been wanting me to spend a lot of time with him, to um, kind of seclude myself and sequester myself, basically. Um, like, obviously, I've still been doing things and taking care of, like, responsibilities and stuff like that, but a lot of the time it's just been really spending with him, and when I actually utilize that time like I was supposed to, um, I was able to um, receive just a lot of freedom from offense that I didn't know I had. I didn't know that I was harboring. I didn't know that I was carrying offense against people in the church, just against the church in general, and also against God because of the way that I have been treated, and just certain things that have happened um, with being in the church. Um, Now, granted, like, I'm the first one to be like, to deal with offense, to forgive, to let that go, to release that person, all that good stuff. Um, but like I said before, I didn't know that I was actually carrying offense. And looking back, it makes sense because my heart was definitely hardened towards spending time with God, towards worship, towards it wasn't towards just hearing His voice, but um, or like reading the Word. It wasn't that, but it was really more so really delving into intimacy with Him, and also it showed in just my interactions with other people in the church, but also with the fact that my offense was leading me back into sexual sin. And in my mind, I was basically thinking, oh, since I can't connect with these people, since people don't want to connect with me, since they don't want to understand me, since they don't want anything to do with me, um, and because they're God's people and because God's allowing it, then I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want anything to do with Him. So I'm just gonna go back to what I know, and because at least with that, I know what to expect and I know how to control those things. And so when you think about it, that sounds absolutely crazy, but that's literally how I was thinking. But I was unaware that I was actually carrying that. I was unaware that I was carrying that offense. I was carrying so much of that, and that my heart was hardened. I knew that my heart was hardened, but I didn't understand why it was. Um, and so, and I've talked tons about like my past, about different things, different adversities that I've faced in the church. So I don't want to like dwell on that stuff again. Um, but because I don't want to like cast on any blame or I'm full on just taking responsibility for the choices that I made, and just understanding that, you know, not dealing with those things, not really getting real with God about how you feel about certain things is going to bring up those walls of defense and move you away from God, the one who is actually championing you into freedom, the one who is freedom. Um, but yeah, all that offense was keeping me, not only offense, but also loneliness and rejection. Because again, dealing with the church, who I've felt rejected by, who I felt ostracized by because of my past, and not only because of my past, but because of my personality, because of how I exemplify Christ, of because I'm figuring out who I'm supposed to be, and I'm figuring out who God has created me to be in the midst of this world where we are right now. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people in the church who are still comparing themselves to each other, who look at certain people and feel like they should be inferior to them, who see people who are really walking in the fullness that they're supposed to, and instead of being encouraged by that to walk in their fullness, they see that as a threat, and they see that as someone who needs to be knocked down a few notches, if you will. But that's a whole other thing. I've talked about that before. But another thing that, going back to, I've dealt with loneliness and rejection and not feeling accepted by people, and that also led me in, because I feel like, well, if I'm not getting accepted by them, then I'm going to find another group of people who will accept me, who I know will accept me. And so that's obviously what I did, but I wasn't supposed to do that, because that literally, I'm literally sinning in order to be accepted, and that's not, I don't know why I did quotations, but I'm literally sinning to be accepted by someone because I don't want to be alone, and that's not what the Father has for any of us. Definitely not for me. And so that was another reason why I needed to be sequestered, why I needed to be secluded, why I needed to be by myself. And I was, again, still dealing with responsibilities, still meeting with people. I was meeting with people I'm supposed to be meeting with, and there were other people who I needed to separate myself from. And it was nothing against them, but it literally was me needing to deal with myself and actually sit with myself and actually deal with God. And even in the midst of that, just not only going back to sin because of loneliness, but even going back because there are certain people who I could not connect with, and I'm out there looking for someone who's similar to the people who I can't connect with, to connect with them in a way I shouldn't. And then realizing, oh my God, I'm actually idolizing these relationships, which is why the Lord told me to cut these people off, because I'm literally idolizing them, and I'm holding them to a standard that they can't meet, because I'm not allowing God to be the center like he's supposed to be. So, yeah, there we are. And so yeah, it's but trying to put the words together, sorry. But yeah, that's basically what I've been dealing with, like, past month or so, and even past week, really dealing with, really sitting with the Lord and allowing him to heal me, to set me free from those things, from those mindsets, and heal my heart and soften my heart, so I can, again, walk in the fullness that he has for me. And not only that, but really embrace who he has created me to be, because the world right now needs people who are authentic, needs people who are real, people who actually deal with their issues, deal with their stuff, and they're not people who are just glossing over issues and just spouting off scripture, because that doesn't help anyone. We need people who are actually going to be able to relate to people. That's why Paul said that he became all things to all people, because he knew that we are meant to meet people where they are, not come in and say, I'm holy, I'm righteous, and I expect you to understand what I'm saying and come up to where I am because I'm holy and righteous. No, you're there to serve, and you're meant to go down where they are to understand where they are, and to relate to them where they are, and to speak to them in a language that they understand. So then once they catch that, they can then be lifted up to where Jesus is and where you are seated next to him. That is our job. That is what we're supposed to be doing. And so, yeah, like once I dealt with all that offense, I was able to actually really receive the love of the Father for the first time in a very long time. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm really, really set free now. I'm really set free from this offense, from all this stuff, from rejection and other things that there were even, and before all that, like I think it was probably a month ago, like probably right when I came into this season of being grounded spiritually, where going back to dealing with rejection and going back to dealing with you know, wanting to be accepted and valued, I came out of these lies that I come into, that no one would ever love me, no one could ever love me, no one would ever accept me because of my physical appearance, because I'm black, because I'm shorter. And me getting older and desiring to be married, to have children, all that stuff, I began to get insecure about that. And especially with, with me being called in the entertainment industry and knowing, again, like, what all that consists of, and even just looking at all the different images that are portrayed, all the different images that are promoted, that are presented, that are deemed to be beautiful, that are deemed to be acceptable, be valuable, and knowing that physically you do not fit that bill. Now, initially I'm like, well, I'm not supposed to, but when it comes down to it, there's still that insecurity that in me still built up, especially with wanting to, again, be married, to have kids, to have a family, and being in that dating scene, if you want to call it that, and being rejected countless times because of my race, primarily, and then my height followed after that. So it was definitely time for me to be set free from that, because that's definitely something I shouldn't be walking with. And not only that, like, I look in the mirror and I'm not ugly. I know I'm not ugly. So I should, but it's just something that's real, and it's something that I have walked in, and it's something that a lot of people walk with. And regardless of how I'm received or perceived by people, whether people receive me or not, whether people see me as valuable or accept me, whatever, it doesn't change who I am. It doesn't change who God created me to be, and it doesn't change, who He says I am. I'm still me, regardless of what they think, and regardless of all that other stuff. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to look like Christ. I'm here to be a son. I'm here to show other people what that looks like. So, okay, yeah, that's all I got. I think, yeah, that's all I got. for now. Uh, but if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. All of my social media handles are in the description below. And don't forget that you were made on purpose and for a purpose, and as long as you walk with fiery passion and perfect peace, there's nothing you can't do, there's no mountain that you cannot move. So until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Bye, guys.